think we're live here. Good morning. Got a cup of coffee here. As you can hear it, just finishing up. Gonna get started. It's Saturday, December 3rd. Good morning, everybody. I saw yesterday, a buddy sent me this, you see this headline here with Paulina, that she's saying that society does not value older women. Really? You're finally figuring that out, huh? 57 years old. And to me, it's interesting that this comes on the heels of this month. You know, Jennifer Aniston had been in a lot of the publications, People and Us, having issues with her fertility, pregnancy, relationships. But why is it right now we're getting hit with both of these? Let's face it, these women were absolute worldwide superstars. I'd be hard-pressed to find two more popular, successful pop icons, beauty models than Jennifer Aniston and Paulina. You could argue, Cindy Crawford or Julia Roberts and things like that. But those two, I'm telling you, at their peak, the whole world was like, wow, Jennifer and Paulina. I remember as a kid, we all loved Paulina. We loved her. We lusted after her, that's for darn sure. But why now is this all coming out? Maybe it's just because I'm paying more attention to it with what's happening. But this is the reality of life for a woman. They don't understand that the value that a woman brings to the marketplace, the value in the world, a woman's value, is her youth, her beauty, and her fertility. And what Paulina said is the world does not recognize or value older women. Well, duh, it's always been that way. Nothing has been any different. That's called reality. And it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because the whole toxic feminine, actually all feminism is toxic. If you go back to look where it started, I talked about this the other day, 1848, these were crazy, man-hating, lesbian, toxic females that created feminism. In the mid-1800s, okay, it's not fourth and fifth wave feminism, it's feminism from the get-go was always, always toxic. But what we've seen is this increase in the crazy feminist, fem-centric, gen-centric, gynocentric culture that we live in. Everything is revolved around women. You can't criticize a woman. We're supposed to believe all women. They can do no wrong, so they don't live in reality. They have a false sense of reality. And now you see, Paulina saying, wow, the world doesn't value older women. Duh, that's the way it's always been. It's never been any different. And I'm sorry, but it's different for a guy. I'm 55. If I wanted to have a new family, start up again, no problem. We could do that. Be with some young 20 whatever, 30 whatever. It doesn't matter. It's different for men. But the problem is we're not telling young women this. Women's shelf life, their youth, beauty, and fertility is a very finite thing. Their 20s, 20 to 30, the risks of pregnancy, the risks of developing those relationships skyrocket because the value, the massive amount of value that you have as a female is in your 20s. And then that starts to, drastically decline. And I'm sorry, it's just different for men. That's just the way it is. But I was trying to figure out why this is coming out now with Jennifer Aniston and Paulina. So I think some of it might be the culmination of the past 30 years, and now we're seeing the peak of these first newer generation, I guess, of feminists that everybody loved, and now they're getting reality slapping them in the face. The other part of it, though, I thought was, Jennifer Aniston's father passed away, and most people don't realize this, but he was a big soap opera from Greece, and he passed, and so Jennifer doesn't have any children. And so I think there might be something to do with, your own mortality. Maybe there were some daddy issues, who knows. That seems to be a big, big part of a lot of these crazy women are the daddy issues. And I think a lot of that has to do because they've been raised in a feminine, dominant household. There's generally not a man around, or there's weak men around. And so you've got this feminist ideology raising boys and girls. And so there are these daddy issues. Jordan Peterson talks about that quite a bit. About the issues with the father. Until they fix that, it's going to be a problem. I was listening to, I'm going to play this clip for you real quick. This is from, Good Mother. Real name's Amanda, but she says the main problem in society today is a lack of good mothers. The feminist doctrine teaches that a woman can have it all. You can have the career, you can have the family, and you can have, all this other stuff. And the reality is, what happens is when you get these women in the workplace, it always works this way. Their career is number one, their children are number two, and the man is number three. Unless there's an animal in the house, then it goes career, children, dog or cat, and then the husband or the man. And that's the problem. That whole hierarchy system that the feminists have brought up is backwards. It needs to start with the relationship. The man, husband, wife first, then the children, then the job, then the animals. And so the feminist doctrine has just got that crazy mixed up for the females. And we're seeing this play out now. Jennifer Aniston, Paulina, and they're not alone. I mean, think about the attention these women got when they were at the peak of their career. The whole world loved them, men and women both. They were just idolized them. Today, with the advent of these cell phones, with the social media, the TikTok, the Instagram, all of this social media stuff, these young women, because they're young, which is their value, they're getting ungodly amounts of attention, really unwarranted attention, but they get all the time. And then when they get a little bit older, again, 30, 35, 40, that attention starts to drop off drastically, especially from the better men, because the high value men, they're going to be interested more in the younger women. And there's always going to be a whole new crop of them that pop up. And I was talking to a gal yesterday about that, and she's in her 50s as well, and she said something to the effect, most men in their 50s want to be with that 20-something-year-old woman or 30-something-year-old woman. She never found that attractive, but there's a lot of women that do, because they want to be with a man that has his poop in a group, has some money, has some experience, has some wisdom that she doesn't have. And again, it's probably a daddy issue. They're looking for someone that could, fill in that father figure type role. But anyway, listen to this clip from Amanda talking about parental issues and daddy issues.
See, a lot of these people I support reminded me of my dad. I had a good relationship with my dad, my father, and my stepdad. There was a point where my mom did do what all these crazy bitches do and put a wedge in our relationship, and I lost some time with my dad, my father, because of her bullshit. So my mom was a perfect example of all these crazy bitches. So when I hear stories, and especially in the MGTOW community, what a lot of these guys have been through, like I totally identify with, parental alienation. Yeah, what a lot of these men are currently experiencing with their own kids. I experienced as a child watching my mom do that to my father, my stepdad, my sister and brother's dads. Like, I watched her do all that kind of shit. Like, I know what toxic female nature looks like. And that's something that I think is missing, too, in the manosphere.
So that parental alienation, I mean, that's a huge thing, especially with the divorce rate today. 80% of divorces, here you can see this headline here, 80% of divorces are now initiated by the woman. 80%, and it's not for abuse, it's not for infidelity, it's just they're not, this immature attitude of, well, I'm not satisfied, I shouldn't have to settle. So they have 80% in their relationship, but they're missing in their mind this 20%, so they go chase something to get the 20%, and they'll get it. It's just they've destroyed their family and destroyed their children in the process. But then they get that, and then they try to justify it. Oh, no, I'm happy and I'm loving life and doing blah, blah, blah. It was funny, that's what Jennifer Aniston's publicist, when she was lamenting the fact that she couldn't have children with her eggs being gone and the intravenous fertility didn't work, they immediately put out a statement. Oh, but she's so happy she, focused on her career. She's very, very happy. The point is that they always, these are some telltale signs of crazy women feminists. Number one, they always blame men. Men are always the problem. They never take responsibility or accountability because they don't have to in society today. But that's a huge thing, is blaming men. The other thing in women's nature is they tend to be more emotional. They don't use as much logic and reason as the guys do. And so as a result of that, many of their decisions are short-term, emotional, immature type of decisions. And so you've got no accountability, blaming somebody else, and immaturity and emotion. That's a recipe for toxicity. And then you put them in a femme-centric environment like we have in the United States, where everything is surrounded and supporting of women. There's all sorts of programs for women out there. You know, if you get divorced, you need child care, child support, boom, they take care of you. The woman will get all sorts of money and programs for that, which is, we all know that's what destroyed the black community. The black family stayed together more than the white community did up until the civil rights movement and the aid for dependent children. And basically the black woman, the B-dubs, if you will, they basically kicked the man out of the house and said, I'm going to pimp myself out with Uncle Sam. Yeah, I'm going to let him be my baby daddy, my sugar daddy. I'm going to get the money from him and, you know, kick that black man right out of the house. Well, 60 years later, here we are. How's that working out for you? I mean, obviously it's not. And now you're seeing the exact same thing start to happen in the white community. 80% of divorces initiated by women, not because of abuse, not because anybody's sleeping around. It's because they're emotional, insecure, neurotic, and not satisfied. That's all this is. They're just not satisfied. They need to grow up, be an adult, and start focusing on their family, their children, the legacy. And we have a huge lack of good mothers today. That's the problem. They're all being taught to get into the corporate world, and then they end up getting into the corporate world, and they can't change their nature, so then they try to nurture and mother inside the corporate world. And that's what we're seeing with this fem-Nazi, fem-centric focus in the corporate world today. It's crazy what's going on. We need more good moms taking care of their families and their husbands in society. It's insane. Paulina and Jennifer, wow. It's called reality. It's called the wall. Nobody escapes the wall. Women don't have truth, logic, reason, reality until it hits them in the face. And that's exactly what happened to Jennifer and Paulina. Welcome to the world, the real world, ladies. Good to have you back.